Hey, this is Steve. I started making a series that I called the Neighborhood OG. I think I've got about six of them made. I'm going to make another one right now. So if you'd like to stick around, I'm going to try and roll four little short stories into one with kind of a good ending. So hang on. I'll try and make it quick. So when I was a kid, I'm here at my mother's house in Southern California, but my bedroom was right up here. And I guess you could say it still is when I stay here. That's where I stay. And when I was a kid, we first moved here in 1967, I had a butch haircut. Butch haircut, just my dad would do it. It'd take about a minute and a half, and he cut it about I think about that short the whole way, except for right here in the front. And in the front, we had a little jar of Butch Wax, and so you put this Butch Wax, and so you had that little spiky hair in the front there. And one time, for whatever reason, who knows why kids do these things, I got a dollop of it and I flung it on their house right here. It's my neighbor's house. And for years, like decades, that was that big dollop was there, and it just got darker and darker and darker. And I feel guilty because I can see for like probably till I was in college, I could see a big stain there. And now I can see where it looks like when they painted the house, they just painted right over it. There's a lump. So anyway, that's one story. Two stories. The other one, yesterday, you might remember I talked about a friend of mine, John, and I just kind of lost contact with him. And his mom never comes out of the house, and no one really knows for sure what's the story. So I drove by yesterday, and there's a work truck out in front. And I thought, well, maybe that's John because he has a work truck. And so I remembered the number from my childhood, and I called, thinking maybe they had the same number. Maybe they still have a landline. Imagine that. And sure enough, it's John's mom. And and I say, hey, this is Steve Fisher. She goes, oh, Steve. And man, it's just a chatterbox. Told me everything. Caught me up on all the kids and all the grandkids and great grandkids. One of them, one of the grandkids is living in North Carolina, Surf City, North Carolina, and her kid, that was my sister's age, they live out there. So anyway, it was really cool being caught up. She said, hey, let me give you his number. He's probably taking a nap now. He still works full time, like 5 a.m. to 1:30 or something. I'll give you his number. So I called John last night, and John, I'll tell you what, it's so cool to hear his voice. She sounded almost the same as I remember her. The whole family reminded me of the Brady Bunch, and with her being, what was the Brady's mom? Carol Brady. It really was very, very similar to the Brady Bunch in the early 70s, which is when the Brady Bunch was popular. But anyway, she gave me John's number, and he comes on. Sounds just like the last time I talked to him, and he said, he picked up the phone. He says, I only know one. Well, he used the whole word. I'll use the shortened version. I only know one MFer from South Carolina, and I says, well, I'm that one MFer. So we talked for a while, and it was really cool to catch up with John. Had some laughs. I also heard some we all have struggles. He had struggle. His son died, and heard about that. So anyway, it's interesting how things that are kind of like, they never really go out of your life. They come back. They, in and out, in and out. And it's kind of nice coming home here to see my mom. A lot of those things happen. Well, yesterday I was at the beach, and where I surf, there's a lot of old farts like me. And so the cool thing is we surf, and then people just standing around the parking lot and BS, And it's just so pleasant to talk with these guys, because they're more than happy to talk. I'm more than happy to talk. They're not working. I'm not working. So we just carry on. So there's a guy who's parked right next to me. We start talking, and so he went out surfing, and I went out later, and I saw him out there. So we talked some more out in the water, and so we probably talked a full half hour. And he said, until I finally asked him, "Where do you live?" And he told me, I think it was Huntington Beach, but he said before that it was in Downey and then in Bellflower. I said, Bellflower? I taught at Bellflower High School for 20 years. Really? Maybe you had my kids. And so he said that the names of the kids, and I had two of them. And not only did I have two of them, I knew them well. And there was the girl, Surreal was her name, well, still is her name, and he caught me up on them. But and they must be 40 now, late 30s anyway. But I couldn't remember exactly. I remember she was in my psychology class, I think, and probably also U.S. history. But there was a funny story about her. I just couldn't remember, and I was trying to remember, and I couldn't remember. On the way home, I thought I remembered, but it was actually a different story. So this morning, now we're Facebook friends. This morning, I got a message. Oh man, my son remembers you. He said you were the coolest teacher in the school. Oh, that's kind of nice to hear. And then the daughter said, he said several things from her, and he said, ask him if he remembers being hypnotized in his psychology class. And yeah, that was the story I was trying to remember. It's like, yes, I remember. So, it's weird because today, now, education is so locked down. I mean, there's just like to get a guest speaker, it like takes an act of God. It almost takes a school board meeting. It's a big deal. But I used to teach psychology I taught in both schools, Bellflower High School, which is nearby, and then Dutch Fork High School in South Carolina. But so I had these various quarter projects, and they could choose from a whole variety. But one of them was to get a guest speaker and someone that has something to say about psychology. And we got some really good ones, really, really good ones, like drug and alcohol counselors, or someone who had maybe worked with special needs people. Various things, really, really interesting people over the years. And I always called them first just to make sure it was legit and they wanted to do it. And but anyway, so this one student who, as his father worked at the school, came to me and said, "Hey, I want to get this hypnotist. Can I bring a hypnotist in?" I thought, that's kind of a stretch. Give me the number. So I called the hypnotist, and it was a lady. I think it was a lady. And she worked at nightclubs and stuff like that. I don't think that happens anymore, but she'd go to nightclubs and she'd do this activity that most people, it just didn't work on them, but there would always be one or two it would. So she came into my classroom, and I said, when I talked to her, I said, you can come and, do your thing, but first tell us how hypnotism works and some of your various stories maybe that you have. And what she did. But then she went through her little spiel. I think it was this. I think she asked everyone to put their hand on their forehead, and then talked about how their hand was glued to their forehead. And in just a minute, she was going to ask them to take their hand away. And so she went through this whole thing. And she says, "Okay, take your hand away," and everyone took their hand away except for one, his daughter. And it was so funny. It was cute, and I think she realized this girl was a high school girl and she didn't want to do anything crazy, but she did do some really funny things. And anyway, this girl, Surya, reminded him of that. It's like, yes. But now I was talking to my friend today who, I'd probably be fired for bringing a hypnotist in the classroom, but it was really cool. Anyway, so it was so cool to hear that about my teaching career so many years ago, probably 5 years ago. And to top it off, this guy, a really cool guy, he's a guitar player, and he sent me these recordings that he'd done, and one of them is a surf guitar player. And the king of surf guitar, Dick Dale's most famous song is Miserlou. Well, he did a smoking version of Miserlou, and I told him, better than the king. Oh, it was so good. And he also has another one on YouTube, Hawaii 5-0. Dun, 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 dun. And so it was really cool meeting this guy, but then also hearing about his kids and hearing from his kids. So that's one. But here's the main story. So the people that live next door to my mom here, they've lived there for quite a while, maybe 35 or so years. And it wasn't their house that I threw the Butch Wax on. It was someone else that lived there. Anyway, the Tindulas. And so I was talking with them over the fence where I just started. And it's really nice to have a family right near my mom, and they kind of keep an eye on her. He said, "Hey, by the way, there's a bunch of water out in front of the house the other day because she left the damn hose in the pool and ran it over all night." So that kind of thing. But the other thing that's really cool is they've got 3 kids now. The kids now are probably, I don't know, the youngest is probably 35, but the middle one, Andrew, he she the mother, Lynn, asked me, she goes, hey, would you be willing to take Andrew out surfing again? He wanted me to ask you. And I was like, heck yeah, man. So here's the story. So when Andrew was in, I think it was a junior in high school, I think it was his mom asked me, hey, would you be interested in teaching Andrew how to surf? It's like, heck yeah, man. And there's nice, totally nice. All 3 of the kids were really, really nice. And it's like, of course. And so I was just doing a favor, a one-time favor, taking him down the beach, teach him how to surf. Well, the kid was really motivated, really wanted to learn how to surf. And so he just started going with me like every day or every on the weekend. He'd always go with me. And at some point I found him a surfboard that was pretty well suited. I bought it for him and then he paid me back. And we just kept going surfing. And it was really cool because it was more than just about surfing. At first, I think I was kind of instructing for a while. I was out, standing in the water and giving him, instruction, all that kind of. But at some point, it was just like 2 guys going surfing. Like he could surf, and it was so neat. And then so neat, kind of getting to know him. Also, kind of in a way, sharing. I don't know. It's good to have, kids. They're great parents, but it's also good to have other adults in kids' lives, and I think I kind of fill that role. But and also the other role, and maybe this isn't. I probably shouldn't say it too loud. Some of the friends down at the beach are a little on the crusty side, and so I think Andrew got a full, the full spectrum of what it means to be a surfer, and and then he went to college, went to UC Irvine, and he got on the crew, the rowing crew, and all of a sudden I'm living vicariously through him because I always wanted to be on the crew, big rowing rowboats. Well, the big, scull, whatever they are, big like 6-person rowing craft. And so he was on that. So I said, hey, you mind if I come down and watch? Oh yeah. So then now I'm going down to Newport Beach to watch that. So when she asked me that last time, I was like, absolutely. I'd love to go out with Andrew again. He's got to be 40 now. Anyway, those are my 4 stories all wrapped up in one. I went way over the time. Hope you have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed the story. We'll see you.